Have you ever fell out with a friend? No, not the immediate laugh. Yo.
Maybe.
Okay, the answer I'm going to think is yes.
Yeah, I mean, okay, let me chew on this a little bit. Hold on. Yes.
Okay.
Over the last couple years, I have fallen out with like 3 different people.
They know that you fall out. You guys have fallen out.
Yeah, I think
Okay.
it was very
It's known.
mutual.
Okay.
It was known. It was low smoke. But I think that, I mean, they're not my day ones. They were people who could have turned into like that pocket for me. Actually, I would say, yeah, like 2 out of 3 of them, like I was super cool with. But I love the fact that you said give grace. So 2 out of the 3 people that I fell out with, surprisingly this year, we patched it up.
Really?
Yes.
I love that.
Crazy. And it just organically happened.
Yeah.
And the reasons why we fell out were not necessarily petty, but it just is what it was. Like at the time, like for one instance, I'm not going to be ambiguous because I feel like if we have a podcast, to me, I hate like when you listen to something and then they're like being super ambiguous and like secretive. And it's like, girl, you can't have a mic in your hand and be secretive. Like pick one. So anyways, I'm going to tell you how to tea. But basically like I fell out with one person over something that was kind of petty. To me, we should have been able to like have a conversation about it and move on. But because we didn't, I realized, oh, like this person doesn't have like a main characteristic that would make her like a long-term friend, which to me was being able to go back and forth about something and then, you know, patch it up. And for me, there's one thing to kind of go back and forth with your friend about something, and it's another way to be disrespectful. You know what I'm saying? I don't do disrespect.
Yeah,
like
absolutely
me and my
not.
friends have thick skin, and we could be like, "Girl, like you play yourself," but we don't do disrespect.
Yeah.
That's a different level. So for me, in one instance, I was like, I'm cool off this situation. It was just a weird situation. She kind of like felt some type of way because she felt like I was rubbing my relationship in her face, and she felt like I was kind of like flexing everything that my man was doing for me. And I'm like, damn girl, you my friend. You supposed to be, I'm just telling you these things. You supposed to be happy for me.
Yeah.
And then I was in scenarios where she felt like, you my friend, you should be looking out for me. Like I should be there with you. And I'm like, girl, like I can't get your man to make you want to be somewhere. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
Without saying too much.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like if he don't want you here, like I can't make him have you here just because I'm here with my man.
Yeah.
You
and
know?
I think it also plays a point of like your friends being in certain seasons, because you were in your high season, being that you were in a relationship, you were doing good, and you're thinking, I'm just sitting here sharing all this goodness with my man, but the person that was your friend probably wasn't experiencing that, so they probably took it as like, dang, she's showing up, but in actuality, like, girl, I'm just being happy and I want to share it with you.
Yes, literally. So that was one instance. Another instance, I feel like the person was being selfish in a sense, like they always wanted me to show up for them and like wasn't really respecting me as talent. That makes sense? So I had like all intentions to kind of have a conversation with her, and then life happened. And like, it was just a snowball of passings. Like I was just like 2 to 3 years of like a lot of passings in my life and just a bunch of stuff happening. So her and I had never been able to like sit down and have a conversation about it, which I would absolutely love to still do. Because I think that's important. Just like if we're going to patch things up and like I'm going to be in your space, like we're going to talk about why I felt some type of way.
Yeah.
Or why you felt some type of way as well. But I love the fact that earlier you said give grace, because I think that was missing on my end. From like that little fallout, I think that I could have done better with giving her grace, but also communicating like, hey, I got a lot going on right now. Because it's one thing on social media, what we see, right? So like you could have seen me doing this and being at that party and being at this. And then it's another thing to be like dealing with real life things. And I think that she perceived my like lack of communication as like I wasn't cool with her anymore. And there was tension on my end, but it wasn't that deep. I just wasn't able to get around to having that conversation with her. So we kind of like softly fell out. It was a soft fallout.
Yeah.
And then this year we slowly like patched it up via Instagram, like, hey girl, congrats. And it was like,
I love that.
Yeah. And like, I hope to have a conversation with her soon about it. And like, hopefully she comes down here to Miami and we can do it over some margaritas or something. But I will have to say I could have did better in that situation.
And that's important to know that when you were in the relationship, you maybe have done something that you could have done to help this relationship.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's big. That's big.
Super big. So I was like, and I had thought about it for a while, and I kept telling my man, like, damn, I think I'm gonna hit her up. I'm like, I should hit her up, like, you know, because it's just like not even worth it. It just wasn't even like, it wasn't like a big beef, but it was just like, you could feel the tension because we kind of like shared mutual friends and stuff like that. So I had thought about it for a while to hit her up, and it was just like never like the right time. But when we kind of like exchanged some words this year, I was like, oh, that's nice. Like, but I do really want to sit down and have a conversation with her because I feel like I also could have done better. But I still feel how I feel, that she's a selfish friend and always wanted me to show up for her, but like didn't really reciprocate, you know?
And that's okay. Y'all could communicate that when you guys meet up.
We can, but I should have done better in the moment because she did reach out a couple times and like try to talk to me, but I did not like respond properly. I was very like, oh, I'm sorry, girl. Like, I'm just going through a lot.
Yeah.
But the reality is I was literally dealing with like people passing away and like just a lot of like real life stuff. Yeah.
That's tough.
So that was number 2 for me.
Yeah.
Number 3 was when I realized I was being more of a friend to somebody than they were to me, which was a hard pill to swallow. Like, oh, like, you're actually not my friend.
Oof.
And that was actually over their significant other, which I think is super important. Like, falling out with a friend because of their significant other is crazy to me.
Yeah.
I would never fall out with any of my day ones over my significant other. My significant other would never, the person who really loves me and wants me to be happy in life would never make me pick. Ever.
That's true.
And that's how I feel.
That's true.
So that third person, I'm happy.
Yeah.
Like, we fell out cool. The friendship on my end was stronger than what it was reciprocated, and that is A-okay.
No love lost.
Cool with me, no love lost. Lack of loyalty, I can't deal with it.
Ugh, that's the worst.
How about you? Have you fallen out with anybody?
So for me, I had to really think about this because I'm not gonna lie, like I'm a friendly person. Like, I love just like friends and groups of friends. Like, I love it, but don't get it twisted. Like, I know when, you know, some friendship seasons just, you know, it just fall to the wayside. And I had one situation where I fell out with a friend and we both kind of knew that this was the end of the road for us.
Why?
So crazy enough, me and this person fell out because she slept with my first boyfriend. So it's going to sound nuts.
That's wild.
It's going to sound nuts.
That's wild.
Hey, elevators, let's talk about our ultimate lunchtime pick, the double quarter pounder with cheese from McDonald's. It's our go-to meal that keeps us full and satisfied every time.
This isn't just food, it's an experience. The heat coming through the bag tells you it's made fresh. For us burger lovers, the McDonald's drive-thru means one thing: a double QPC. When those burger cravings kick in, nothing else will do.
Get a drip that's as fire as your drip when you order a double quarter pounder with cheese at McDonald's.
Fresh beef at participating U.S. McDonald's. Excludes Alaska, Hawaii, and U.S. territories. But me and this person...
There's so many people in the world.
I know, but me and this person were friends from like childhood, teenage to like adult. Like, she knew me since I was 15. Like, we...
So when you...
So there was a specific situation... Go ahead.
Hold on. Let me grasp this situation. So when you had your first encounter with your ex, she probably was one of the first people to know about it.
Oh, she knew about it.
Oh, she wanted to be there.
Like, she was at my birthday party
she wanted to be there.
When they met. Like, she's known, like, this is like high school. I don't want to say like,
that's crazy.
It's like high school sweetheart. Like, you know, like my first. Like, this is like, we knew each other's parents. He knew my parents. All my best friends knew who he was. All my friends knew who he was.
I don't like that.
So, anyways, long story short, him and I kind of like got in communication, kind of like, you know, rekindled. And I was sharing with her the story. Like, as you were talking to your friend Kiki, I'm like, girl, you wouldn't guess who I see. You wouldn't guess what happened, blah, 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 right?
I'm going to throw up.
And she kind of like, her face changed and I'm like, you okay? And we were actually on our way like to go eat and hang out. And her face changed and I'm like, you okay? She's like, yeah, everything's fine. Everything's fine. Then the next day, she's like, let's go to brunch. So we went to brunch and she literally told me.
After how many mimosas?
There was no drinks involved.
The appetizers came out?
I don't even know if the food made it to the table.
Oh my God.
She literally told me like, hey, this happened. She like told me that she was in love with him.
What's this
that she was willing to risk our friendship of over 10 years to be with this person. And I don't even think they ended up being together. Like they never, like it didn't even work out. Like, and he didn't even, I don't even want to get too much into it, but
that's crazy.
Literally.
So she knew about.
When I say friends, like family knew each other. We were very close, been to each other's houses, even deeper than that, which I'm not even going to get into, but we were real friends and it was over a man. So yeah.
See, that's why I can't do that stuff.
And it wasn't even me. I'm like, yo, like it was just a mess. It was a mess. And to be honest, it's crazy because I feel like I was such a good friend to her. And I'm not going to sit and say when she was my friend, she wasn't a good friend to me. And I feel like life is so short that if she would have came at me in a certain way and, you know, said, hey, girl, I want to try to see if this works, I would have probably had to take it upon myself to see if I would have wanted to still be her friend. But to sit there and say, like, I'm rather risk our friendship and the years that we've developed our friend, like to be friends, to be with this person and then not even end up working out was, I think, what hurt. You openly said you want to risk our friendship for this person.
For this man.
So
that I done had and passed and now you want.
And not even that. Like that sounds.
You want to be second.
Yeah. So it was over a man. So that's was
crazy.
One friend that I fell out with.
That's always crazy to me because there's so many men in the world, and why you had to choose the closest one to me, and close in that sense, like
because I wouldn't say it now. Yeah,
really.
There's just some things that are off limits.
Come on,
and I think that for me, as crazy as it may sound, like I still like have nothing but like wish nothing but love and positivity and great things for her. But I just think that the trust part is one thing that I probably won't be able to get past.
So, do you think dating your friend's ex is off limits?
Absolutely.
Okay, cool. I just wanted to make sure we was on the same page.
No, absolutely. Now,
some people think that and I'm talking about friends. I'm not talking about acquaintances because I'm talking about friends.
Yeah.
Like even if your friend went on a date with somebody.
Yeah.
Even if they went on a date with somebody.
Your acquaintances don't count.
I feel like if they went on a date, if they exchanged text message conversations, it don't matter. If y'all even looked in the same direction and made eye contact in a very sexy, flirtatious way, off limits. There's way too many men and women in the world for you to dabble.
Boyfriend, completely off limit. Ex, completely off limit. Like,
that's weird. Weird vibes.
Yeah, get it out.
Super weird.
Get it out.
Okay, so do you think pillow talking with your man about your friend's business is okay?
Absolutely not. I feel like, and especially like my friends, like I don't have short-term friendships. Like a lot of my friends, like I said, have known 10, 15 plus years. And 9 times out of 10, like relationships that I'm currently, or that I'm in, like if I'm speaking on like current, like it's a new, it's kind of fairly new. Like I don't want to risk exposing certain things that my friends tell me because I don't want, i.e. my man, to maybe look at my friend a certain way.
Fair.
And I just think that that's personal. Like, why would I want to say something that, you know what I mean, that's going to jeopardize my friendship that may, you never know, like in conversation may come out and it's like, yo, how do you know that? Because I only told this one person. So the fact that you know that, yes. But if it's something that's like light, I don't mind sharing. But if it's like a deep, like, girl, only I'm telling you this and only you know this, like, absolutely not. Yeah.
I agree. I think though, it's the intention behind what you're saying. Mm-hmm. And I think that if it's something like light and petty, it's totally fine.
Yeah.
But because the reality is I have a friend who's married and I know some things I might tell her, she gonna lay down and be like, babe, guess what? And that's just what it's gonna be. You get what I'm saying? And that's okay. But when I tell her, I inherently tell her husband. The difference to me is that if I'm telling her, I'm like, if I explicitly tell one of my best friends, do not tell your husband this.
Yeah.
Then she knows it's super off limits.
Yeah.
And I would treat it with the same respect. But I think that it's really important to know your intention behind saying information because, to me, anything that's crossing the line as a woman, I'm not telling. Because there's just certain things why do I need my man to be in my girl's business? Mm-hmm. That's none of his business. Mm-hmm. It's barely my business.
Yeah.
But I think that if it's something super petty, as long as the intention isn't to be like, haha, look what happened to this person. And it's more like, yo, can you like believe this? Like,
happened.
this is crazy.
And y'all both,
you know, then that's different. But if it's like with a negative like connotation, then no.
And like, I'm always going to say,
which it shouldn't be happening if that's your friend.
This is between us, or don't repeat it. And it's so funny. Some friends are like, I'm not going to repeat it. But I'm like, if I preface and say, don't repeat it, and you
still repeated it, you're done for me.
We fighting.
You're done.
We fighting.
For sure.
We fighting.
Yeah.
Now, let's talk about traveling with friends, because that's a big thing. Like, you know, when the friend group chat makes it out the chat, y'all on the flight.
Well, you know, my man will send us on a trip.
Oh, the trip I wasn't on, but hopefully there's another one. Next time. And hopefully it's the same parts again, because I want to go. Are you leaving your friend who is budgeting or may not necessarily have it like that? Are you leaving them behind?
Yes.
I didn't even get it out.
Yes.
I didn't even get it.
Is your broke friend staying home? That's what you want to ask. Yes.
Really?
My broke friend is staying home.
Okay.
And hear me out. It's because you cannot impose your financial situation on everybody else's. If everybody else is prepared financially to go on vacation or to go to dinner, and you come, okay, here's another thing. If my budgeting friend is like, girl, like I'm on a budget, I can't go, I might press her and be like, just come, I'm gonna pay for you. Or I'm be like, okay, cool, I feel you. Like, and that'll be that.
Yeah.
But I don't think you can pressure somebody to go somewhere and then you be like, stop being cheap. Like, you can't do that. If they already told you they're in a bind, that's what it is. But if they willingly want to come, you can't stop everybody else's plans on the trip. If we wake up one day and we are like, we're going to get a yacht, and you're like, no, I don't want to do that. Baby, you should have stood home. You should have stood home. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If we out at a restaurant and one of us is like, let's just get a bottle of wine, and you say no because you want to buy a glass, you should have stood home.
Nah, see, Krystal, I disagree. No. I disagree. Here's my thing. I've had friends who have paid for me. I've had friends that I've paid for. If I have it and I want to be able to have friend experience what I experienced, yes. But I also think that it's one of those things where it's like the friend may not have known they were coming to buy a whole bottle. They might have just wanted to get a little glass because they wanted to still go and enjoy the experience. But yeah, that's why. Nah, I disagree.
No, listen,
I disagree with that.
I really want my friend to be somewhere, and I'm not a multi-millionaire, you get what I'm saying? But like, if I really want my friend to come out, my friend group is very, I got you, just come.
But Krystal is that person, by the way.
I'm very, I got you, just come.
She'll call me and be like, we're going here. And I'm like, girl, I got food. I cooked at the house. I'm over here meal prep. And she'd be like, no, I got you. She's definitely that person.
Very much.
I want to say that. I do want to also
for the
say
record.
that. She is. She's pulling that platinum card out.
Period. But if there's a friend, you know how sometimes there's just friends where in Spanish we call them like entrometida, and they just want to be.
Oh, wait.
Like,
what? Wait, nah. Break that down.
They just want to be in everything, like
That's
in
what that
all
means.
the fun.
Okay.
Yeah, like
in the mix.
Basically in the mix and nosy, but then want to be budgeting. Like, no, baby, stay home.
Yeah.
Like you don't need to be outside. You need to be at home. And it's not to like say anything about anybody's financial situation. It's just you cannot impose your situation on other people's situation.
I get that. Yeah.
And you can't expect everybody to just keep you afloat. Yeah. Sometimes you got to sit it out.
Yeah. And be transparent with your friend. Like, look, if I go, this is what I'm doing, and this is what I'm not.
Yeah, and sometimes my friends will do that. Like, yo,
yeah, I could go, but this is what it is. Yeah.
And if you tell me to still come,
you knew what my budget was. So if you buy that bottle, I'm getting a glass, but that's it.
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, my budgeting friend is definitely staying
at home.
Yeah. If I can't pay and they don't have any more money, they're staying home.
So that's that split in the bill. It's getting split all across the board. You know what?
Yeah.
This was like a rite of passage when I moved to New York. I learned about the whole splitting bill thing. And it's always a constant debate. How do y'all feel about this? Definitely get in the comments and let us know what you think. But if you go somewhere, are you on the bill as the friend that's picking out, I had the water, I had the Mac, I had this, or are you just going to put your card and split it evenly?
Girl, anybody who's picking out entrees from the bill needs to stay home. Like, that is ridiculous. I cannot stand people like that. Like, I come from a hospitality background in terms of like where I've worked and stuff. So I've never even like entered into adulthood picking out entrees. Like, I've always when I go to restaurants, everything is family style. Like, so when I sit down and we're ordering and stuff, I'm asking my friends like, oh, do you want the oysters? Do you want the lobster? Like, do you want the steak? Like, do you want to do this? Like, let's get stuff for the table. Because that's how
when the oysters hit the table, you already know where the bill's going. I just gotta when they order a dozen oysters and nothing else is ordered, I hope you brought your money.
Yo, no, but if I'm gonna order oysters, I will say I'll put a little extra because I'm gonna order my oysters. You know me. But I am definitely a split the bill kind of person.
Yeah.
We're not gonna sit here and embarrass ourselves and start picking out entrees. Do absolutely not. Send it to me on the back end then. But
ever since 2014, when I stepped foot on the soil of New York City, I learned about splitting that bill all the ways. You could have got a water and ate the bread at the table. But if everything was ordered, you better sit there and order something. Because if you're going to get there and not order nothing, your bill is still going to get split. I had to, like, my friends came and visited me one time when I was living in New York, and we went to catch. It was so funny. And the bill comes, and I'm like, all right, y'all. And they were like, but I had to. And I was like, wait a minute. In New York, this is how we do it. Like, I had to tell them, like, how we do it. Literally, I had to tell them because this is how it goes down. It was like it's literally a thing that when you move to New York, you will learn. And maybe you don't have to move to New York to learn, but that's when I first learned about you put your card in even if you did not order. So I say all that to say, get your little cocktail. Get your little mocktail.
Just do it because everybody else gonna do it.
Whatever you need to get because it's going to get split evenly, however you like it.
Right.
What did that guy from Peloton say? Just eat the bread and have a good time. Girl, just drink you better enjoy that water, but get your little mimosa too.
No, for sure. I've just never had, as a matter of fact, oh my God, let me tell you about this one time. Man,
this is how your stories start out. It's going to be juicy.
Girl, so years ago, Naomi and I did a birthday trip together. Mm-hmm. And this was before Tulum was like even known. Like before Tulum got popping. We went to Tulum, it was a girls trip. So we had a house for like 12 girls. Naomi brought her 6 girls, I brought my 6 girls, and like it was lit. There were some girls who were there that was on a budget. We go out for the birthday dinner. And one of Naomi's friends, I said, Nay, don't ever bring her ever again.
Oof.
Don't bring her ever again.
Are they still friends?
I ain't gonna say too much.
Ooh.
But she came on the trip, and this was at our very specific birthday dinner where they was gonna bring out the cakes and sing the happy birthday because
it's given it was at Taboo or something.
It might have been Taboo or like Rose Gold or whatever that place is called. She starts saying she don't want to put in for the bill because they never put her entree on the check.
Not the birthday dinner.
On the birthday dinner,
because you knew that you
and she
still
was also
ordered.
just giving weird vibes on the trip in general, like saying really like weird, like jealous things about Naomi, like, oh my God, your body's so perfect. Like, I don't hate like you. Stop posing like that. You look so perfect. I'm like,
I don't like that.
Stop being
self-deprecating. I do not like people who self-deprecate.
Stop being weird.
I do not like that.
Because I'm not gonna do that. I'm like, I am gorgeous.
I'm gonna hype you up. I'm gonna hype myself up. Let's continue hyping each other.
Yes.
Yeah.
So she was just being weird in general. But the birthday entree stuff was the icing on the cake. And my homegirl Andrea was like, what? I'm gonna pay for the whole bill.
Shout out to Andrea.
And just paid the whole bill. And I was like, because baby, now you're never coming on a trip with us ever again. You don't do that. And it wasn't even expensive. We wasn't ordering like bottles. Like it wasn't crazy. It was not crazy. And we talk about in Tulum before it was popping.
Yeah, but if you knew you ordered an entree, whether it's on the bill or not, you still needed to put in.
You still needed to put in, even if it was for the gratuity, because your head was counted at the table.
Yeah, it's
just common courtesy to me. Morals, principles, all that stuff we were talking about.
That falls under the line of a good friend.
Well, child, now you know. Don't come out with us if you're not splitting the bill.
If you're not gonna put that card down, stay home.
Right.
That's
Please stay home. For the listeners listening, we don't itemize the bill. We split the bill.
We split the bill.
Or stay home.
And shout out to our friends who are listening, and people who are looking to develop friendships, looking for good friends. We talked about, the green flags and things to look for as it relates to relationships, and hopefully those relationships continue to grow as we, grow in our seasons of elevating.
Right. And thank you guys so much for tuning in. Make sure you subscribe on YouTube. And if you like this episode, make sure you rate it on Spotify and Apple.
That's
5 stars. Leave a comment. Tell us what you think. And tell us if you splitting a bill too.
Are you splitting it? And also, what are your green and red flags on a relationship friendships? And how is it being friends in your 30s or, wherever you're at? Let us know in the comments. But thanks for supporting us.
Bye.
Bye.